Yeah, after my last video, I wanted to test a bunch of, let's say, audio recording devices, just to see how they compare when recording voice for video, now that I'm making more of these kind of videos. And then I realized I should probably record this whole thing and document it, so then I can release a video about it, because that's what you do as a YouTubeist, isn't it? I thought some people might find it useful, especially if there does turn out to be an easy and affordable way to upgrade your sound from something like built-in camera mics to something better. So yeah, here is me doing that. Hi. In my last video, it turned out the best results came from using the most expensive equipment coupled with the most time-consuming methods. Who would have thought? i.e. an expensive, large diaphragm studio condenser microphone, Exhibit A, recording into DAW software and post-processing before adding it to the video later, which is long. So ideally I wanted to try and find a better solution with an easier workflow, and preferably something which isn't going to cost like $1 million currency. Now I realized that I have quite a lot of stuff I could potentially test, even though some of it might not be stuff you might think of. But I narrowed it down to a few things. In general, I've tried to pick a collection of things that I think most people will have at least one of at their disposal, or at least can get hold of fairly easily. So hopefully that makes sense. This time my budget for acquiring new things to test was limited to either buying a cheap clip-on lav mic of some kind, or a cheap small shotgun mic, as these seem to be the go-to thing people prefer when it comes to video. And as I come from music world rather than video world, I don't own either of these. So I went for the small, affordable shotgun mic. This is the Rode VideoMic Go, the original version, which just clips straight onto the camera, so it's nice and easy. And I'm not expecting professional quality from this or anything, but I did have to make some modifications to this before it was even usable, annoyingly. It's obviously very poorly isolated, so I was getting a lot of interference from it. It's probably easier if I just show you what I mean. It's like right over the top of a computer now. Move it over gradually. That's what happens. So yeah, as per video on YouTube recommended, I wrapped this part in copper tape to better isolate it. And it seems to have improved it a fair bit, so hopefully this will work out. Okay, so with all that, here's all the gear, along with this, and here's what I'm gonna do. I have a fairly standard sounding room with some acoustic treatment in the form of some acoustic panels hung up here and there, some foam, and carpet. So a somewhat normal indoor situation, I'd say. So what I'm going to do is record a bit from each microphone and play you the result directly from the source with no post-processing, other than probably a little bit of gain to make them all equal level, so it's a bit easier to compare the quality of the sound. So I'll do a bit from each of those microphones that I showed you, and a bit from the on-camera mics as well, so we can compare that. And then I'll do a snippet from outside as well on the microphones where that's practical, because I'm not carrying this outside. No. So yeah, in no particular order, here we, as they say, go. Okay, so this is the Shure SM58. As many of you probably know, SM standing for Spin Meow. This is a fixed coil dynamic microphone. It's intended for kind of live music, venue scenarios and things like that. But I figured that some people might have something like this lying around, and you can pick up something like this fairly cheaply, probably about 80 euros or so new. A lot less than that if you can find a used one, I'm sure. So let's see how this compares. I feel like though, the way that this microphone is designed, you're probably going to have to be pretty close to get the most out of it. I can imagine probably you'll be able to hear the difference. Yeah, I can already see that the levels here are vastly better than they were before. So there's that. Is it an upgrade from the on-camera mics even? Let's see. I forgot my douche tuber light. Can you even tell the difference? It's there. Shh. Okay, so these are the on-camera mics. I assume it's some kind of stereo capsule mic kind of array. And I have it on the vocal range setting in the camera, which means it should pick up things in the frequency range of vocals a bit more than anything else, but it might degrade the quality a little bit. I don't know. The other options were reduced wind noise, which I feel like is probably just a high-pass filter, so I left that off. But yeah, these are the ones to beat, really, because this is by far the most convenient and easiest workflow to use, so there's that. And this is the voice recorder app on my Samsung phone. I figured that pretty much everyone has a phone, right, with some kind of voice recording capabilities. So why not try it out? And I figured that it's going to be something fairly similar to what a lav mic would pick up, like quite a small mic fairly close to you, although you have to hold it like a weirdo. But anyway, just thought it would be worth the comparison. And this is the Rode shotgun mic, surrounded by a lot of electronics. So let's see how it deals with the interference. But it clips directly to the top of the camera, plugs in, records the audio straight to the video. So really easy, really portable and convenient and everything like that. So see how it is. Okay, this is the on-camera mics outdoors now, with a fairly medium amount of background noise, I would say. Extra medium, if anything. How does this sound? Okay, this is the Rode VideoMic outside sample. Does this make for exquisite vocal clarity? I can only hope so. Okay, this is the outdoor sample with my voice recorder on my phone. Does feel a bit dumb doing this though, to be honest. Like, at this point, why not just do the whole video on your phone? But it was just as a point of comparison, so leave me alone, alright? Or, I suppose I could do this. There. If that's not what a top pocket was made for, I don't know what is. How does that sound? Okay, I should probably go back to the indoor land now, where I belong. So there we go. Those are the 5 things that I decided to try, but definitely do let me know in the comments down below if you'd be interested in seeing any of those other things tested, because I'd gladly do that. I'd be interested myself, to be honest. I kind of wonder how the earbuds would do. Anyway, focus. I'm using the AKG 414 now, or 414 as some people like to call it, so I decided to put it in shot just to prove that it's there. I also recorded the whole first part of the video on this, so there's no point in doing a kind of separate test for this. So yeah, you can use this as a baseline to compare the other recording devices. So there we are. What did you think? Which did you think sounded better straight from the source? Were any of them indeed an upgrade to the built-in camera mics? Was this in any way helpful? I hope it was to some people. It definitely was to me. I'm glad I did these tests, but the one thing I would say is that if you are really interested in hearing the subtle differences between all of these devices, I definitely would recommend going back and listening to the tests again, at least with some decent headphones in, because that way you're going to get a much better idea of the differences between all the devices and what they're actually doing. But with that in mind, what I plan to do next is to take all of these tests into my audio software and take a bit of a deeper look at things like frequency responses and how these things performed in this particular situation of mine in a bit more detail and all that really fun stuff. And then I thought I could go through some of my basic approaches to processing and how I might go about starting to do that for each of these microphones, because that would be my next step anyway. So if you'd be interested in seeing that, then let me know in the comments down below and I'll make that video. That's it. So thanks. Bye. Also,